We are back with another video. Before we get into the video, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. So, unfortunately, Cardi B put out another flop. I just want to know the Nipsey Hussle collaboration, which she is featured on, failed to debut on the Billboard Hot 100. And Titanic Records is a little bit worried. Now, people may say, oh, well, it's just a feature. But Cardi B's on it. Cardi B said that her records live in the top 10 when she was featured on the Lizzo song years ago. So what does features have to do with anything? If you so hot, you would be able to get it on the charts. Now, everybody, even Drake, has put out, some flop. But Cardi B often brags about, her chart positions. That's what she was bragging about. So that's why people are now holding her accountable. And if Cardi B continuously puts out flops, she's eventually going to get shelved by Titanic Records. Okay, that's eventually going to happen. Because, it already took her 7-8 years to put out a second album. The album did not outsell Pink Friday 2, which they wanted. They wanted it to outsell Pink Friday 2. The reason why it did not outsell Pink Friday 2 is because I think, Nicki Minaj was technically on hiatus during Cardi B's rollout. And I think that Nicki, when she's not active on social media, when she's not active in music, it hinders the other girls, because that's when the fan bases decide to support a female rapper when Nicki Minaj is active. When Nicki Minaj is not active, the fan bases, Cardi B fans, Megan Thee Stallion fans, they barely support their fave, let alone another female rapper. They barely support their own faves because Nicki Minaj is the only person that they technically really care about. A lot of Cardi B fans and Megan Thee Stallion fans were Barbs, but then they weren't Barbs anymore, which is their right. They have the right to change their mind. But the point of the matter is, that's basically what happened. So Cardi B is eventually, her career is going to completely end if Nicki Minaj is not active. If Nicki takes a few more years off, the label has no incentive to push Cardi B because the general public just does not care about Cardi. Yes, she's an internet personality, but she's very boring. And on top of that, she's not lyrical. And she doesn't move the culture forward. She doesn't move the culture forward at all. So to me, it's just like a waste of time for them. Nicki Minaj's Super Freaky Girl, that debuted at #1 4 years ago on the Hot 100, became the first solo song by a female rapper to do so in this century. Not only that, it's the longest charting #1 solo debut by a female rapper this century. And it spent 12 weeks in the top 10, 25 weeks on the chart. Now, a lot of fans that are missing Nicki Minaj are wondering, if Nicki gonna be able to have this type of success again. And I definitely feel like for the next single, at least for the first few weeks, people are gonna be tuned in. Okay, obviously, I definitely think some sabotage will happen because, obviously, there's a lot of people in the industry that have been trying to stop Nicki from making music, and that's why she's on this hiatus now. But I definitely think that when Nicki come back, people are going to tune in because Nicki is definitely missed in female rap. I don't know if Nicki Minaj's heart is in it. I feel like she wants to come back to music, but at the same time, she doesn't. If you get what I'm saying, I think she loves music, the art form, rapping, her fans. But industry politics, being sabotaged every time she drops, that's something that I don't think anybody really wants to go through. So that's why I feel like she wants to come back, but at the same time, she probably doesn't because she knows she's going to get sabotaged. They took 100K sales away from Pink Friday 2, and I can see them trying to pull the same stunt the next time she drops. But the fact that she's still able to maintain that record shows that she's still the queen. Now, moving on from that, Cardi B allegedly gets dissed by Pissy Face Carisha. Pissy Face Carisha put out another snippet for the Spend That remix, which features Lil Baby, Travis Scott, and Trina allegedly. Let's take a listen.
How you done and you going number one? Running summer 26, bitch, you fell off. Sitting at the top of the charts tonight.
Okay, so she says she's running summer 26 and a B word fell off. A lot of people are saying this is shade towards JT or Cardi B. Now, in my opinion, I don't think JT has ever ran a summer. Okay? I don't feel like Cardi B has ran a summer either, but there's some people that are delusional and believe that Cardi B is their number one female rapper. And let's not act like Cardi B did not just release a song and Spend That completely outcharted it. Let's not act like that didn't happen. I know some of the Cardi B fans don't want to pay attention to it, but Spend That has constantly and continually outcharted Cardi B, and Cardi B is supposed to be a bigger artist than Pissy Face Carisha. So a lot of people feel like she was throwing shade at Cardi B. Now, people may be wondering, why would Pissy Face Carisha throw shade at Cardi B? Well, if you guys have been living on a rock or haven't been paying attention, Carisha dated bottom bussy Stefon Diggs after she dated Diddy. And now Cardi B has announced the Aha music video the same time Pissy Face Carisha announced the Spend That remix. What a coincidence. Now, Carisha is getting dragged on social media, especially after Kodak did threaten her while she was pregnant. So people feel like, putting him on the song is dumb. But the fact that Cardi B announced the Aha music video after Carisha talked about or announced the Spend That remix coming out Friday is evident that there's something going on between them. Because why you trying to put it out this Friday? You know what I'm saying? That's very interesting to me. Now, the Queen, Beyonce, is releasing the B-Day 20th anniversary album. And a lot of people are excited for the Get Me Body extended mix, which allegedly features Lady Gaga. Some fans have been complaining that the vinyls are $150. Now, Beyonce, really? A vinyl for $150? Bitch, if you don't sit the fuck down. I like Beyonce, but she be doing too much. Your vinyls are not worth $150. Now, $50 makes sense. $150, no. It's like, is she like out of touch? Like, who's spending $150 on a B-Day vinyl? Like, come on now, stop it. I can understand if it was the Beyonce album, kind of, sort of, but even then, no. I'm not giving Beyonce no $150 for no B-Day anniversary album. No. When you drop new music, then I'll think about it. But it might be a no then too. No shade. But I know that some of the the Beehive, they will buy the album. Okay, I'm sure it will go top 10 on the Billboard 200 album chart. No one's worried about the sales. Now, here is the art cover for the B-Day 20th Anniversary Deluxe Edition cover. I don't know if this is something she recently did. I feel like it's probably old and they didn't use this cover, so now they're using it 20 years later, which is fine. But Beyonce always looks good, You'll never see Beyonce, well, I wouldn't say never, but she really doesn't ever look raggedy in photos, okay? Usually in her photos, she looks very good, and you can tell that, there was some sort of filter used. Now, moving on from that, Dolly Parton breaks the record for the most tracks simultaneously in the top 30 on the U.S. iTunes, 26 to be exact. The record was previously held by Ckiminaj. So let me know how y'all feel about it. Dolly going, it just don't feel right because a lot of other people need to go. She done so much positive for the community in general, always giving out free books to children, donating to charities and, movements like, the Black Lives Matters movement, even though some people thought it was a scam, but she still donated. She's donated to, the gay community. She just was such a staple in the community besides obviously her iconic music catalog. I feel like Dolly ain't deserved to go. I don't care what nobody says. She ain't deserved to go. There's a lot of other people that need to go expeditiously. And Dolly wasn't one of them. Now, it looks like Camel Toe is crumbling even harder, especially after 50 Cent posted that his album, Before I Self-Destruct, is outstreaming 2 Camel Face classic albums combined daily, okay? He posted, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. Wait, I thought they said Before I Self-Destruct was my worst album. Then he also posted 50 Cent's Before I Self-Destruct surpassed 600 million on Spotify streams, outstreaming Camel Face's The Blueprint and Reasonable Doubt individually, while reportedly earning more daily plays than both combined. Okay, so he basically posted the same thing twice, but it looked like he trying to say he outselling Camel Face, even though Camel Face is doing shows around the globe. Now, 50 Cent better be careful, because I definitely can see Camel Face pulling strings to, get you further blackballed, even though Jimmy Iovine already blackballed you musically years ago. That's why 50 Cent don't put out music like that. And if it wasn't for Eminem, you would have never performed at the 2022 Super Bowl. Okay, because Camel Face didn't want you to perform, but Eminem said to Camel Face, listen, I'm not performing unless 50 Cent perform. So, you may never be able to headline a Super Bowl, which I don't think 50 Cent should. I don't know shade of 50 Cent. I like 50, but he should not, with a capital N, be headlining the Super Bowl. But his chances are going to be hard, and I definitely see Camel Face pulling strings behind the scenes to, maybe ruin some deals for him, especially musically, because I thought 50 Cent said he was going to put out an album. Did he ever put it out? Remember when he was beefing with T.I.? He said he was going to put out an album. Didn't he say he was going to do that? It was going to be called The Algorithm when T.I. and him were beefing. But I guess that is not the case anymore. But I'm just saying, if Camel Face was trying to block you from performing at the Super Bowl, I definitely think he's going to try to block you from doing other opportunities, even possibly in television, because you keep, poking the bear, okay, or the camel. No pun intended. Now, moving on to Megan Thee Stallion. So, Megan Thee Stallion, as we know, got Act 3 coming. And allegedly, Devil Nation is trying to get Megan Thee Stallion to pop out at the Video Music Awards and possibly perform her new single. Let me know how y'all feel about it. I'm here for it as long as it's the Doechii or Doja Cat collaboration. If she performing by herself, I can pass on that. No shade to Megan Thee Stallion. Not really interested in any solo performances. I'm interested in the Doja Cat and Doechii collaboration, and I feel like Doechii, she got to prove herself. Right now, Doechii is cold. This would be the perfect time for Doechii to hop on the Megan Thee Stallion song and completely out-rap her and prove to people that she's one of the top female rappers in the game, because Doechii right now is cold. She's not popping at all. I don't know what happened to Doechii's career, but it completely disappeared. Unfortunately, I do believe that Doechii does have to prove herself. She does. She has to prove herself. She don't even have a debut album. What's the hold up on that? So I want to see what that is sounding like on the Megan Thee Stallion Act 3 album. But anyway, I got some very hot tea on Hayden Panettiere, Perez Hilton, Taylor, Selena, Dolly on Patreon. Link will be in the description. I hope you guys have a great day.